Hello friends, this is S.Suresh Kumar from Smart Leaders IAS. I am very happy to meet you all through this small video. What is the intention behind this video? We all know that since 2013, UPSC has brought reforms in the mains examination as well as in prelims. It is from this 2013 that UPSC has introduced subject specialization, or we can say area specialization, like world history, modern history, governance, international relations, internal security, as well as ethics. So with this subject specialization, it brought us more avenue to prepare on a particular subject and also enable us to get good scores. So it is in this context that it is right time to have a small peek into the topic of internal security in mains paper 3 and see to it that how much that we can better enable to face this paper in the mains examination. So this video is about the internal security in the mains paper 3, what was the trend in the last year and what we can expect in the upcoming mains examination. Our preparation is dictated by what UPSC gives in the syllabus. This is a syllabus given for internal security in GS mains paper 3. Linkages between development and spread of extremism. This is a topic which speaks about developmental failures. It speaks about developmental failures. 3 types of insurgencies our country faces: Maoism or left-wing extremism, northeastern insurgency, Kashmir insurgency, plus the classical threats from terrorism. So this topic literally deals with the developmental failures as a nation, which leads to different types of insurgencies such as Maoism, northeastern insurgency, Kashmir insurgency, plus terrorism threats. The second topic, role of external state and non-state actors. So what this points to? What is the intention behind this when the syllabus is framed by UPSC? With the growth of non-governmental organizations which involved in developmental efforts, there was also growing threats from these organizations. It is in this context that the dangers perceived by our intelligence agencies since the last year, there was a crackdown on non-governmental organizations and their involvement in anti-developmental efforts in India, particularly Kudangulam protests and Vedanta protest. There was a belief that there was a foreign hand involved in stalling these developmental projects. So that is a main theme behind this topic, the role of external state and non-state actors. When we look further into this topic, it can be divided into 2 areas. NGOs, role of NGOs in development as well as in internal security challenges. The second aspect is the role of terrorist organizations across the borders and the institutional support such as PLA in the China, Pakistan army from western borders. It is this constitutes the NGOs and terrorist organizations and institutional support covers this area. The third, the threat which is more recent but albeit very damaging also, very dangerous also, cyber security challenges. This is the range of cyber security challenges that our country faces. The recent ransomware attacks such as WannaCry and also the most recent Petya, which is in the news. It is these topics, these kind of topics which is to be considered in this third area, challenges to internal security through communication networks, plus the role of social media it is also gaining traction that political parties, world leaders, NGOs, activists have taken social media to reach to the public. But not only the leaders, but also terrorist organizations have been misusing this social media to spread rumors, to spread hoax messages, which in turn disturbs the internal security. So, cyber security plus role of social media is what discussed in this area. Money laundering and its prevention. This topic gains importance after the demonetization taken by the government last year. What I am trying to say is in the context for the next mains examination. So, demonetization and its impact on money laundering as well as arresting circulation of the black money. The second aspect of this topic is about Aadhaar, mandatory Aadhaar linking with the bank accounts, with the PAN cards and subsidies, that how Aadhaar linking will help in preventing and arresting the money laundering efforts. So, this is what this topic money laundering will be dealing about. Security challenges and their management in border areas and linkages with organized crime. This is kind of linked together. So, this actually speaks about once again border management and link of organized crime with terrorism. Organized crime, which is mostly commercial in nature. Terrorism is political in nature. Organized crime is commercial in nature. They are doing it for economic benefits such as circulation of counterfeit currency, organ trade, arms trade, trafficking children, trafficking women. So, and trafficking bulk drugs, fake drugs. These comes under the category of organized crime. So, how the organized crime is linked with terrorism, such as mafia gangs. The most classical example for linkage of organized crime with terrorism is the Mumbai blast perpetrated by Dawood Ibrahim gang. Dawood Ibrahim gang is an organized crime group which were involved in terrorist act, Mumbai bomb blast, 1993. So, that is what classically this topic speaks about, the linkages of organized crime with the terrorism. But how this is linked with the previous one, border management. Much of this organized crime and its link with the terrorism is known to be happening at the borders. So, what are the border management challenges and the link of organized crime in the Indo-Bangladesh border, Indo-Nepal border, Indo-Myanmar border as well as Indo-Pak border. That is the context for this topic. And the fourth one, various security forces and their mandate, such as Central Armed Police Forces. What are the Central Armed Police Forces? What are their functions? What is the mandate for them? It also includes security organizations such as NSG, National Security Guard, which provides security cover to VVIP persons. It also includes them. In addition to that, it also includes the new forms of organizations that are in the pipeline, but also it is also extensively criticized, such as NCTC, National Counter-Terrorism Center. It has been in the pipeline, but because it has been criticized for affecting the federalist relations between the center and the state, it is not yet been implemented. And organizations such as NIA, National Investigative Agency, their role in dealing with the terrorism, at the same time how much they are interfering into the state affairs. So, certain organizations, not classically in this topic we will discuss about Central Armed Police Forces, CAPF, but we should not stop there. We also have to have an idea, a brief reading into organizations such as NCTC and NIA and how much they are functioning, how effective they were in dealing with their mandates. So, this is what the syllabus. and this is what our coverage in our preparation has to be. Now let's see how much important that it is to prepare for internal security. And to be frankly speaking, this is one of the area in the paper 3 which is sufficiently rewarding. In 2013, the first time mains examination were reformed. There were 5 questions from internal security with 10 marks each. There were totally 50 marks out of 250 marks. So it constituted 20% of the paper 3. Internal security constituted 20% of paper 3, which is also a very easy topic. In 2014, once again there were 5 questions, but as you all know, after 2013, each question was not rewarded with 10 marks, but with total of 12.5 marks. So 5 questions with 12.5 marks each, it amounts to 62.5 marks, which is 25% of paper 3 marks. This trend was followed in 2015 also, 25% marks. Last year there was only 4 questions, totaling 50 marks, going back to 20%. So if we analyze the trend, it is sure, we can be assured that in the upcoming mains also, 2017 mains also, 20 to 30% of marks in paper 3 will be from internal security. The number of questions will be from 4 to 6 questions out of 20 questions. So this would be educated guess we can make towards the internal security in the upcoming mains examination. Now it's time to surgically analyze the syllabus. Now the whole syllabus of the internal security easily categorized into these topics. We can even further reduce it into 4 topics. The first one is insurgency and terrorism. So our preparation towards internal security in paper 3, insurgency and terrorism, which includes the first one, the 3 types of insurgencies, and this. Also in the same insurgency and terrorism, we can include external state and the non-state actors also. Non-state actors. The second is cyber security, another very important topic. Cyber security. And third is money laundering. And the fourth is organized crime plus security organizations. So we can easily bring down the syllabus into these 4 areas: insurgency and related topics, insurgency and terrorism related topics, cyber security related topics, money laundering related topics, organized crime plus security organizations. Isn't it looking easy? Of course it's easy. Now let's analyze the questions from each of this area from 2013. Let's see how many times that question have been asked. But remember, UPSC has been very notorious for asking certain topics. Let's say for example, in 2016 there was a question about urban flooding, both in paper 2 as well as in paper 3. So we really cannot circumscribe a particular topic into a particular paper. We cannot expect that internal security will be asked only in paper 3. Even in paper 2 international relations, there was a question about linking of terrorism with the SARC. So we cannot circumscribe, but this is an effort This particular tabular column is an effort to understand how much the area is covered in the last 4 examinations and what is the extent of the coverage. In 2013, there was one question about insurgency, there was 2 questions about cyber security, social media and social networking sites, 1 about money laundering and 1 about border security, 5 questions totally. In 2014, we can see there were 3 questions on border security, but it is not directly on the border security. For example, there was a question about the impact of China-Pakistan economic corridor on the strategic interest of India. It is also pertaining to border security. So that's the reason I have included that in this column. On 2014, there were 5 questions, 1 from terrorism, 1 from external state and the non-state actors, and 3 from border security. In 2015, there were 2 questions on insurgency, 1 on terrorism and 2 on cyber security related topics. Last year, there were only 4 questions, 2 on terrorism, 2 questions on terrorism and 1 question on cyber security and 1 question on border security. If this is a trend for the last 4 years, what could be the trend in the next year? This is a prediction that we can mostly expect. But I also want to say you, this is a prediction based on the last 4 years examination. So at best, it is too early to bring out certain topics which is important to cover. So when we consider internal security, if you see the last year, there was no question asked in last year. In 2016, there was no question on insurgency. If you go with the trend, 2013, 2015, so we can expect most likely a question from insurgency. So what are the topics that we need to cover in insurgency? The renewed claims for statehood from our northeastern region, and in the Manipur, the relatively peaceful conditions in the Manipur, the announcement of Assam as a disturbed area, also NSCN, National Socialist Council of Nagaland, and 2 fractions, Kaplan faction and Isaac Muiwa faction, they both are now on the peace table. What is the impact of this? So how this peace agreement is going to affect the Naga Accord and also bringing relative peace and security to the northeastern region. So in terms of insurgency, the developments in the northeastern India, particularly with Assam declared as a disturbed area, the relative peace in the Manipur and peace agreement with NSCN, K faction and IM faction, it's very important to focus in the next examination. The next important area in the insurgency is the sudden explosive acts of Maoism. Since 2010, there is a growing influence of the Maoist attacks, and 2010 being the bloodiest year, the highest loss of lives were recorded in the year 2010. Since 2010, it is declining. But from 2017, for example, in April, Sukma attacks, there is a renewed Maoist activities recorded in the central India. So this particular trend, the renewed Maoist attacks, also recently central government has delineated the red corridors. Red corridors, I hope you all know, the Maoist affected areas. Central government has delineated the red corridors. So these are the topics we need to consider with respect to Maoist activities. And Kashmir insurgency. This is a broad topic which we can bring not only the Kashmir insurgency but also terrorism. The whole explosive situation which began with the encounter death of Burhan Wani in the Kashmir Valley. The role of social networking sites also will be an important part in the Kashmir insurgency, being the Burhan Wani being a social media activist. The AFSA in the Kashmir Valley and its impact on the society. Human rights violations by the security organizations. Human rights violations by security organizations such as using of a protester as a shield. And also subsequently the particular officer was commended with a medal. It was highly criticized. So human rights violations by security organizations, the use of social media for the subversive activities, and low political turnout in the Kashmir Valley in April 9 election. Low political turnout. What would be the reasons behind this? What would be the impact of such a low political mobilization in the state? Could be the important focus areas for 2017. Highly expected. Next, about terrorism. It is one of the evergreen topic, is also expected. External state and the non-state actors, as I said earlier, it can be seen from two parts: the NGOs, the role of NGOs in creating the security challenges, the role of terrorist organizations. The last year, the Home Ministry bringing NGOs under their control through FCRA regulations was highly criticized. We expected a question on this topic, but it didn't come. As the trend is continuing now, for this year also, we can most possibly expect a question on this, the role of NGOs in development as well as in creating security challenges, the role of terrorist organizations, and how much impact that it might have by India joining into Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which will help in bringing the terrorism into the control. This will be the focus area for this topic, which is also expected. Cyber security, social media and social networking sites. The usefulness of this topic is that when we prepare for this topic, it will not be useful only for paper 3. We can apply this understanding in essay also. Technology and the society, technology and the humankind. We can always expect a question like this. Whenever we speak about technology and applications, we cannot avoid speaking about cyber security. The role and the advantages of information technology. So cyber security, social media and social networking sites will be useful not only for paper 3 but also for essay paper. With the recent, so cyber security, social media, what are the important things that need to be covered in the next mains? Most importantly, Aadhaar controversy. The mandatory linking of Aadhaar. So in what dimension it should be noted? Privacy concerns. Privacy concerns plus, because all these private informations of each citizen of India is with the government, it results in the creation of super surveillance nation, also called as super police state. The emergence of super police state and the rights of citizen, right to privacy of citizens. So Aadhaar controversy in general, then threats to privacy and the emergence of super police state. In addition to that, there were other developments also, such as increased ransomware attacks. Last year, there was cyber security attack on credit cards and debit cards, which resulted in loss of huge amount of money. And in the last 2 months, there was a ransomware, WannaCry, and also very recently, Pit-of-Fi. Another ransomware is also in circulation. So cyber security in general, it speaks about the most important topics. As I said earlier, it's too early to predict topics, but these were the trending topics and most important to cover. Aadhaar controversy and related dimensions and ransomwares. Next, about money laundering. Also, I want to mention it. In the cyber security, what is the role of CERT in dealing with the cyber attacks? CERT being an organization can be covered in security organizations also. So these were the topics we can possibly expect in the next mains. Then money laundering. As I said earlier, NGOs and money laundering. demonetization and money laundering, the two important areas that need to be focused. Border security, because when we see the trend, there was a much higher focus given on the border security in the last year. So if you go with this trend, border security may not be expected in the next mains 2017. But even then, if you want to focus on the border security, once again the most important focus should be given on Indo-Pakistan border and Indo-Bangladesh and Indo-Myanmar. These are the three important borders which is recurrently in the news, which also should be focused. Organized crime, there were no question on this area. It is because of this fact, I presume that we can most highly expect a question on this area, organized crime. Most particularly with counterfeit currency. The role of organized crime in counterfeit currency and terrorism is the important dimensions that we need to look upon. Security organizations, classically we have to study about CAPF, Central Armed Police Forces, plus security VIP security organizations, plus inhumane working conditions. It is also known that the security organizations and their members have been deployed in such remote parts of the country and they don't have humane working conditions. So the morale of the forces is considered to be low. It is in this condition, how can you expect the security forces to deliver the results? So inhumane working conditions. Then standard operating procedure, SOP. Many of the attacks on the Central Armed Police Forces is due to the adherence to the standard operating procedure. So role of standard operating procedure plus human rights violations, most importantly Rashtriya Rifles and Assam Rifles, human rights violations, and the recent organizations which are in the newspapers like NCTC, National Investigative Agency. So these are the topics we need to consider. So with this video, we have made an effort through this video to have an understanding about the internal security topics, which is actually just 4 topics. There is only 4 topics to cover, but actually contributes to 20 to 30% of the marks in the mains examination. Also, the topics that we can expect in the next mains. I hope that this analysis will help you in your preparation in this topic. For more videos, subscribe to our Smart Leaders IAS Online channel. Thank you.